Hello again, everyone. I am Anna, also known as Anna McNaught on Instagram.
And I am James, aka Jimmy Two Take on Instagram.
And together we are Leave the Map. So today we're going to be learning all about Photoshop and how I use Adobe Stock to change out skies and make things look really, really cool and surreal, just like you may have seen on my Instagram. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, everyone, welcome to Photoshop. We're going to get started with this Milky Way canoe picture that I have here. And so the first thing that you want to do is just make sure you have Photoshop open, and I highly recommend making sure that you're running on one of the newer versions. So what I did here was I took an image that James took of this canoe when we were up in Maine, and I really worked on editing it and giving it this color pop and then adding the Milky Way. And lucky for us, Adobe Stock allows us to do that so easily and change this out. So we're gonna dive right into that and learn exactly how I edit my photos. So first what I did here is added this final camera raw color correction, and I usually do this when I'm done. So I'm just gonna turn this off and show you what this image looked like before. So if I turn this off, look at that. Here's our starting image. It was a cloudy evening, nothing too exciting happening here, and with the power of Photoshop, we are able to make this photo really come to life. So I'm just going to turn that back on so you can see after and before. All right, so we're going to leave that off for now and go all the way back down to our background. So you can see here that I added in this Milky Way shot that we took in Death Valley a few years ago, and this turned out super awesome, and I really like the way it works in this image. But you know, maybe we want to come back a few months later and change this out. Maybe we decide we want to put something else in. So let's see here. I added all of these other layers and everything. So the first thing we're going to actually do is kind of work within this, but just sample what things will be like if we start playing around with a different sky. So we're going to come over to the wonderful Adobe Stock, and I use Adobe Stock, as we already mentioned, for so many different images, and I absolutely love the library and the ease of use and just the way it's set up. It's like the best stock library I've ever found. So you'll want to make sure you have an account or that you set one up and you're logged in, and then you can just go ahead and search something. Let's see. So let's type in Milky Way. So check this out. Look at all these amazing Milky Way images. This is so useful for whatever photo you're working on. You know, you can find all these different colors and styles. So maybe we decided we don't want to do a Milky Way though. Maybe we decide we want to do like the Northern Lights or something. So let's just give that a quick look. And look at that, all sorts of absolutely beautiful images in different colors, different styles. I love this one. I'm gonna have to use that for something. So this is just so cool to really add some versatility to your images. So let's actually go ahead and check this image out. Maybe we can decide if we want to use it. So just click on it, and it will open up to the image where you can look at it a bit bigger and decide if this is what you want to use, and even find some things that are similar. So maybe, I don't know, these are pretty cool too, so maybe we want to use one of these. Yeah, this one is awesome. I love that. I think we could really make this work with the canoe. So you can just do a download preview if you just want to test something out, or go ahead and license it. So I'm going to go ahead and click license. Alright, so now that the image is downloaded, we're going to hop back over to Photoshop. So I'm just going to go File, Open, and over to my downloads and grab that Adobe Stock image and open it up. Alright, so we can just drag that over like that and drag it onto our canvas. There's a couple different ways to place an image, but this is just one of my favorite and easiest ways. So I'm just going to place this exactly where I want it. Go Command T to transform this image and get it into place. And then we're going to just place this on top of the Milky Way image that I had. So if we put this back in here and put our canoe back, you can see that now we have our Milky Way behind here. So what if we just turn this Northern Lights on now? Look at that, just like that, we have changed this image. So there's a couple of different things that we want to do to kind of tweak this, and I'm just going to quickly go through this for the video's sake. But what we'll want to do is kind of clean up this sky area here and work on some of our color balance and curves that we've already done. So in the Milky Way version of this, I added a color balance and a curves layer. So I'm just going to add those. And you can already see by adding this simple color balance, and all I did here was just adjust the magenta, cyan, and blue a little bit because that kind of matches the color tone, we can already start to get this northern lights to look really good. So then I'm going to turn the curves on so that we can also start to kind of blend in these other clouds. So you can see that looks a bit better, but I think what we want to do here is go back and start to really refine this layer mask here. So we have our northern lights underneath here, and I'm just going to actually slide this up a little so we get a bit more of that color coming in. All right, and turn that layer back on, come over to our layer mask, and I'm going to paint with black with a very low flow. So I like to adjust my flow in order to kind of really work on blending everything in. So look at that, just like that, we can start to blend this sky super nicely and replace our Milky Way. So you can see here that this doesn't blend perfectly, but what we're gonna do now is switch back to white, and with an even lower flow and a nice big brush, we're just going to start to kind of circulate the brush and bring that color back up. Now, if you want, you could even come back and kind of color correct that. So maybe we actually come back over to color balance here and just add maybe a bit more blue. So let's say we just kind of do that with the cyan and the blue, but then we can see that it's already gotten a bit too much in our canoe. So all we have to do here is come in with a black brush and just start to paint that out. Let's bring our flow up a little. Just like that. So maybe that's actually a bit too much. Let's undo that and just bring it to a 10 and try that. So we can just lightly, with a nice big soft brush, paint that blue out. And maybe we want to add a little bit back in, just a tiny bit. Super simple. There you have it. So I would spend a bit more time really working on these colors to get the cyan and the purple from the northern lights to reflect in the water and to match with the boat. But just like that, you can see how easy it is to go from Milky Way to northern lights using Adobe Stock. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I encourage you to start with Stock and experiment how Stock can really help amplify your photos. We will see you in the next video.